What is packing with you, YouTube? This is your man King Howie back with another video. And let's talk about the controversial call that happened in the game, the NFC Conference Championship game with the Saints hosting the Rams at home in the Superdome. It was a good game. Jared Goff wind up throwing an interception, and then it was Todd Gurley. It was hard to get him going. The Saints started off with two drives, kicking field goals, and then Garrett Griffin. I think he's a fullback. He catches a touchdown from Drew Brees, and then the Rams come roaring back in the second quarter. Greg Zuerlein kicks a field goal. Then Todd Gurley runs a touchdown in, and then the Saints come back in the third with Taysom Hill catching a touchdown pass from Drew Brees, and then the Rams fire back by throwing a 1-yard pass to Tyler Higbee. And then the Rams kick a field goal. Then New Orleans kick a field goal to tie it up 23-23. And then in the overtime, Drew Brees is out there. But before we get into that, before we get into the overtime game, let's talk about the controversial call that was made by the Rams secondary. I think it was Joyner who did it. Drew Brees is throwing the ball, and the Rams defender just comes up and hits him, just completely hits him without turning around. He could have picked the ball off if he would have turned around in time. He could have got another interception on Drew Brees, but he blatantly was intending to hit the receiver, despite if he was, gonna catch the ball or not, he was gonna hit him. So this is where things go wrong for the Saints. Instead of Sean Payton, this is the reason why his picture is up here. Instead of Sean Payton concentrating on bouncing back from a non-call and just moving on, trying to make the next play, they had a chance to win the game. Let's not forget that. They did receive the ball first in OT. But instead of trying to get the guys focused again, you focused on a call that should have been flagged. It should have been a pass interference. But no, you go up and down the sideline for the remainder of the game arguing with the referee. Once the call wasn't called, it wasn't like they was going to change the call after a play was done. Oh, let's go back and change that to a P. No, man, move on. You basically cried about a call that cost your team to lose the game. And like I told y'all, man, I kept telling y'all, the Saints don't have no receivers. That was the reason why they went to go pick up Dez Bryant. And that didn't work out. I told y'all Drew Brees was done. Look who he throwing the ball to. Taysom Hill, Tyler Higbee. He trying to throw the fade routes to Alvin Kamara. Like, come on, man. Stop it. But Sean Payton, I think, is the reason why the Saints might have lost this game 26-23 to the Los Angeles Rams. If he would have just let that call just gone by and focused on, okay, let's move on. Let's if we get the ball back, we got to make it count. He didn't do any of that. He argued with the referee for the remainder of the game, talking about a call. I mean, it's the start of the overtime. It started overtime, and you're complaining about a call that happened. I don't know what quarter that call happened in, man. I think it was the late third or something like that. Who knows? But You got to learn how to move on, man. You got to coach to win the game. You can't coach. You can't argue with the referees. You got to coach a team. And the Saints fall short again. The Saints won't be marching into nothing. Now, they have potential to go back to the NFC Championship again next year. But see, it be games like this that might make or break a team next year. You know what I'm saying? Some teams learn how to bounce back from devastating losses. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look what happened to. All right, look what happened to the Saints last year with the big Vikings play to Stephon Diggs, and look where they wind up this year in the NFC Championship. So teams can bounce back from, you know what I'm saying, devastating plays are things that, you know, anomalies that happen in games. You know what I'm saying, like miracles. You know, some teams don't bounce back from that shit. I mean, look at the Seahawks. It took them a minute to get back into the playoffs. I think it took them about 2 seasons after Russell Wilson threw that pick, the pick at the goal line against the Patriots in the Super Bowl. It took them a minute. They had to regroup. So there's no doubt in my mind that the Saints could probably wind up back in the NFC Championship next year due to the fact that they have a huge chance of winning the division next year. You look at the Panthers, not really all that great. Cam Newton is going through this whole injury thing, and you know they don't really have no go-to receivers. What's going to happen with what's the tight end name? I forget the tight end name over there. Greg Olsen, yeah. What's going to happen with Greg Olsen? Is he going to retire? Is he going to come back? Who knows? That's another piece they're going to be missing. Shout out to Christian McCaffrey. He's going to be the glue that holds that thing together, depending on the health of Cam Newton. And then you look at the Falcons with the devastating injuries they had at the beginning of the season and throughout the season. You know, and then you look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're going through a rebuilding stage with a brand new coach. Don't know who the quarterback is going to be next year. If they draft one, get one through free agency or a trade, or they stick with Jameson Winston. So the Saints have a huge advantage of winning the division next year. That's who I'll pick. You know, they're not really going to lose nobody. All they can do is just probably add more depth to the receiving core, and they'll be just fine. You know, probably beef up the O-line a little bit. Definitely go get a viable tight end, a reliable tight end, because I think that's one of the pieces that they really missing from this offense. Get some, you know, beef up, put some more depth at the linebacker position, probably add a pass rusher, a D tackle. And the Saints will probably dominate that division next year. Probably win 11, 12 games next year. You know, despite injury or anything like that happening. So, but this game right here against the Rams, Sean Payton, you let that call get the best of you. You have to, you know, learn to live with the referee's decision and move on to the next play. You can't sit there on the sideline arguing and trying to convince it takes you out of your game plan when you focusing on a bad call that blatantly should have been flagged. So who knows what the refs were thinking on that play. I know a lot of people are going to go around, it's rigged, the NFL is rigged. Yeah, you know, it's entertainment, man. It's just like watching a athletic soap opera. That's what this basically is. You know, it's entertainment. These dudes are athletic actors. You don't believe me? Here's one way to convince you. One word. Flopping. They all do it. They flop. So, will this incident that happened with Sean Payton affect them next year? You know, I mean, you know, you had the Minnesota Miracle, and now you have this unfortunate, you know, play where a flag should have been thrown, and it's just kind of like, damn, what else can happen in a game with the Saints? You know, supposedly supposed to be the team that Vegas picked to win, and they let the Rams come out there and steal an NFC championship away from them. Shout out to the Rams. You know, y'all did what y'all needed to do to win the game. But I'm curious to see how this will affect the Saints next year. And can they get back to the NFC championship? Who knows? Remember to like, subscribe, and comment. It's your man, King Howie. I'm out.